Small, crafty, cowering, timorous little beast. Now this is referring to the mouse. If you weren't sure what the word timorous meant, you can use some of these other words to help you. We've got, okay, small, crafty. So, I mean, small is self-explanatory. Crafty, like clever. Cowering means kind of afraid. Timorous, little beast. To be timorous is to be shy. So this word just means shy. But that all kind of fits together, right? If you had to kind of come up with what this word meant, you could probably figure it out using this context. So he's talking about the mouse. He says, oh, what a panic is in your breast. So he's plowed this mouse's house up, and the mouse is startled, understandably so. You need not start away so hasty with your hurrying scamper. I would be loath to run and chase you with murdering plowstaff. So he's like, yeah, I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to chase you. But I understand. Right? He says, I'm not going to chase you. I'd be loath to run and chase you with my murdering plowstaff. Like, I'm not trying to kill you. Like, you don't need to run away from me like this, little mouse. And he says, I'm truly sorry that man's dominion has broken nature's social union and justifies that ill opinion, which makes you startle at me, your poor earthbound companion and fellow mortal. So he's like, yeah, I'm sorry that the way that humans are so dominant, over mice, that it justifies the fact that you're afraid of me. Like, I understand. I get it. I get why you're afraid of me. That makes you run away from me, even though I am your poor earthbound companion and fellow mortal. He's like, I'm just a mortal too. I just also live on Earth. I'm just another creature that lives here on Earth. So that kind of establishes this tone of kind of camaraderie, or he's like, yeah, we're in this together, which is pretty nice, right? So it's setting up this thing. He's kind of talking to the mouse in this companionable way, like, hey, friend. And he says, I doubt not that sometimes you may steal. He says, yeah, I know that you steal from me sometimes, but so what? What then? So what? Poor little beast, you must live. Like, okay, yeah, you steal from me, but you've got to live too, mouse. An odd ear and 24 sheaves is a small request. And of course, when we're talking about vegetables and we talk about ears, we're talking about, you guessed it, it's corn. So he says, yeah, you steal some food from me, but what's one ear out of 24? Who cares? That's a small request. And you know what? From now on, you can have it. I'll never miss it. You have my blessing. You can go ahead and take that corn from me, because you know what? You've got to live too, mouse. I'm not even going to be mad about it. Right? And he says, oh man, your house too, it's ruined. Because remember, he's plowing his field, and he busted up this mouse's house. Its feeble walls, the winds are scattering, and nothing now to build a new one of coarse grass green. He's like, crap, I destroyed your house, and there's not even any new green grass to build it, to rebuild it. Because December's winds are coming, both bitter and piercing. He's like, shoot, I destroyed your house, and now you can't even rebuild it. The wind's blowing it apart. I did this to you. And he goes on to say, you saw the fields laid bare and wasted, the weary winter coming fast and cozy here beneath the blast you thought to dwell. So it's like, yeah, you actually planned ahead. You knew that winter was coming. You knew that the fields were going to be laid bare and wasted. There wasn't going to be any more vegetables. There wasn't going to be a place to hide. And you knew that winter was coming. So you built yourself a little house thinking you could be cozy and hide out from the weather. You thought you could dwell. You thought you could live down in this cozy little house till crash. Until bam, blammo, I ran you over. The cruel plow passed through your cell. My plow destroyed your little house, mouse. Sorry about that. That small bit heap of leaves and stubble has cost you many a weary nibble. So he's like, man, you worked so hard on that. You worked so hard. So I'm looking at my screen while I'm writing, and it's very disorienting. Like, you worked so hard on that, and it's destroyed. Now you're turned out. Like, you don't even have a place to live for all your trouble. Without house or holding to endure the winter's sleety dribble and hoarfrost cold. It's like, you have to live out in the elements. Like, you don't even have a place to live anymore because of me. Sleety dribble. I mean, sleet That's kind of self-explanatory, but just like snow and stuff, dribble, and hoarfrost cold. Now, hoarfrost is just basically when dew, like the condensation that collects on, you know, vegetation in the night, when that freezes and turns everything kind of white. The definition of hoar, H-O-A-R, has to do with appearing old. So it actually just means like it turns it white, like an old person's white hair. So it's called hoarfrost. It's just a type of frost that's kind of prickly looking. It's the frozen dew. If you Google hoarfrost with this spelling, you can see what it looks like, but you've probably, if you have been here a winter, you know what that looks like. Hoarfrost. So he's like, man, you gotta live outside. He says, but little mouse, you are not alone. You're not alone in proving that foresight may be in vain. So you're not the only one who proves that even if you plan ahead, things might go wrong. The best laid schemes of mice and men go often askew. So no matter how much we plan, no matter how much we plan or scheme, whether we're mice or whether we're men, our plans can go askew. Askew meaning awry, meaning not as we plan, right? If something is askew, typically I think of the, like my glasses were askew. Like if your glasses get knocked off your face, that's when I would use that word. Something is organized, but then it gets all jumbled and messed up. So the best laid schemes of mice and men go often askew. That's a really famous line from this poem. And of course, that is where we get the title of the story of Mice and Men, right? The best laid schemes, no matter how well you plan and dream about the future, oftentimes things are still going to go wrong. And as we saw in the story, that is definitely the case for George and Lenny, right? They had all these dreams, all these plans, and even though they thought it was all going to work out, of course, everything that happened. So, bad times of Mice and Men. The best laid schemes of Mice and Men often go askew and leave us nothing but grief and pain for promised joy. So this is the continuation of that. We think, yes, we're going to have so many good things. George and Lenny thought, oh my goodness, yes, we're going to have this place, this farm. We're going to be able to do all these beautiful things. And then what were they left with? Grief and pain. Sad, right? It's actually pretty fitting for our school year as well. The idea that all these plans that everyone had, I think this is the perfect poem for 2020. All these plans that everyone had, we just realized that no matter how well you plan something, things can go wrong, even if you think you've got it all under control. So I like this stanza. And like I said, this is a really famous line that you'll hear referenced outside of this poem. All right, so he says, still, last little stanza here, still, you're blessed compared with me. So remember, this is a man talking to a mouse. Still, you know what? You are blessed compared with me. The present only touches you. So he's like, you know what, mouse? You're only worried about right now. He's like, you're an animal. You're only worried about what's happening right now. But oh, I backward cast my eye on prospects dreary. And forward, though I cannot see, I guess in fear. So he says, you know what? As a mouse, the only thing you're worried about is what's happening right now. You're like, crap, my house is messed up. But that sucks, but it's not as bad as me because I'm a human. And as a human, I look back at the past and I'm upset because of how crappy my past was or how bad my memories are. And I look forward to the future and I'm afraid because I don't know what's happening in the future. I'm worried about both the future and the past, where you, little mouse, are only worried about what's happening right now. As a human, I'm concerned about both the past, present, and future. But animals, he says, you're lucky, you're blessed. You're lucky that the only thing you have to worry about is building your house and surviving. I have to worry about the things I regret from my past, and I also have to be fearful about what's going to happen in the future. So yeah, it's not a real pick-me-up, but I do love this poem.